Hey everyone, it's Ten Types, and today I'm talking about the Pokemon video game. No, just kidding. I'm talking about the video game Pokemon in the TCG, however, because I recently saw a video and saw people talking about how the best Pokemon in the video game are not good in the TCG, and the best Pokemon in the TCG are not good in the video game. So I cannot comment on how good Pokemon are in the video game. However, I asked you in a YouTube community post what I should do to find the best video game Pokemon. Multiple of you recommended Pikalytics, so that's what I've done here. I've done the top 20 Pokemon from Pikalytics, and I'm going to rank them on a tier list, but not based on how good they are in the video game, because I don't play the video game. I have no idea how it works. I play the TCG, though, and so I'm going to be ranking them how good they are. We got S, A, B, C, D. I would put F, but I don't know, it didn't fit. And then NA is if it doesn't have any cards in the game. Admittedly, there are a few Pokemon where I might bend this rule, but we'll see. We'll see when we get to them. I have looked at the list of Pokemon, so I have some idea of how this is going to go. But I will be going from the worst video game Pokemon to the best, starting with this Iron Hands here, moving all the way down to Incineroar, which does have multiple cards in the standard format. Also, I am only doing standard format cards because that's what most people play. If you're a viewer, and you play the game, that's probably how you play. Or at least how you what you hear people talk about. That's what people talk about. That's what I mean, that's what I play. That's what most people play. So, and I will be looking at cards. This is in the standard format, but there's a few weird things here. So let's just start, and I'm going to be looking up using the Limitless database. These are English cards as well. So I don't think that matters too much. But we'll start with Iron Hands here. And Iron Hands does have two cards. It has a single prizer, which isn't very good, but it's not actually that bad. And I don't know exactly how much to like if a Pokemon has lots of cards and some are good and some are bad, I guess that's good. I'll just count like the best ones. So Iron Hands EX is a really solid Pokemon. It's seen a lot of play. It came out a little while ago, but oh wow, this is a lot more play than I was expecting. I mean, I knew it saw a lot, but it's seen a lot in a bunch of different decks as well. It has some decks based around it. Its attack amp you very much. For Lightning Colorless, 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 it is 120, and if your opponent's knocked out, you take an extra prize. There are a bunch of different ways to power this up, and they're all right. You can look at it in Lugia decks just based around future. Oh, and it is a future Pokemon in the TCG. Both times it's appeared, and then you can play it with Miraidon. You can play it with Chien-Pao. You can play it with Lost Zone. I don't know if there's Roaring Moon. I saw like someone did it with Roaring Moon. I don't think playing it in Roaring Moon's good. I think that's kind of not good. But the other ways are all like really solid. And so I'm gonna put it in. Is it S tier? I don't know. I mean, I feel like putting a Pokemon in S tier, it's hard. Like Iron Hands EX is a really good Pokemon. I'll put it in S tier, I guess. I feel like I don't want to be too harsh on these Pokemon. So starting off with S tier, and I do think it is the best one. Just looking at the tier list, there's some other ones that are really solid, but yeah. Then we got Urshifu. I think that's single strike Urshifu. So a bit of a spoilers for Urshifu. Um, so it doesn't have any cards in the game. So if you look at Urshifu, um, how do I spell this? So there we go. We got Urshifu. Wow, lots of cards. 8 different cards, but none of them are in standard. And there's 4 of each. They all rotated. They literally all came out like 4 years ago. I guess that has to be. So they all just rotated. I mean, when I say just rotated, though, it was like 6 months ago. So yeah. Um, I guess it's a bit of a spoilers for Rapid Strike Urshifu. That's not going to go so high. So it's in the NA tier. Admittedly, they were like pretty solid. They were very good. I mean, Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX might be the best VMAX ever, but it's not in the game anymore. So yeah, and even when it was in the game like a year ago, it wasn't that good. It was solid, but not amazing. Then we have Clefairy. What Clefairy? I don't like. This is not a final evolution. Is that the only non-final evolution here? Um. Yeah, I think so. So I don't know much about. I know a little bit about VGC, but very little. So Clefairy, yeah, there's a bunch. So most of these aren't good. There's this one though, which is kind of funny because I'm just gonna count it as the Pokemon itself, not the pre-evolutions or the final evolutions. So Clefairy, this one's kind of interesting. You have this ability where you get lots of energy and play on your other Clefairies, and then you attack with Clefairies. It's kind of weird. It's not good. It's pretty bad to be honest. But like for a competitive deck, but it is like a casual deck. It's kind of funny. Kind of silly. You can do big damage, but it has some terrible matchups. When I say terrible matchups, like spread, you just lose pretty much. So, like if your opponent hits you with Sableye, they knock out two of your Clefairies, which not only is obviously bad because you're giving up two prizes, and also bad because they're a single prizer, and it hurts your setup essentially, and then it's actually reducing your damage because now you can't do much damage, and you probably can't attack. It's not good. So it's you're certainly not always against spread, but Dragapult or Sableye you will lose, almost definitely. I mean you could Jirachi to stop Sableye, but this is D tier. I mean this card's is it D tier? I'll put it C tier to be nice, I guess. D tier is like pretty bad, so I'll put it in C tier. Clefairy is not like the worst card in the game, certainly, so that's fine. Then we got Zamazenta. Apparently, there's two different forms of Zamazenta. I think in the TCG, I'm gonna look at all the cards. I'm pretty sure there's only one form in the TCG. Yeah, just this one form. So, but I'm not counting forms of Pokemon that in the video game that don't have forms in the TCG. There's also forms of Indeedee apparently. But there's only one form in the TCG, or one like Indeedee. So anyway, Zamazenta has oh I forgot it has well I guess it has to have three if it's a V and then a V star. The V star is all right, honestly. I think the V star is super underrated. I don't think it's that good, but I think it's okay. I don't think I've ever heard anyone else talk about this card like literally ever, but it's not that bad. It's like a mediocre V star to lower end. And then this single prize Zamazenta is super good. It's good in Dialga. It's good in Lost Zone as well. I was expecting to see more Lost Zone. I know it's not played that commonly in it now, but it's really good in those two decks. Only certain builds of Lost Zone though, because it is two metal energies. But we don't really need to debate exactly whether you should play it in Lost Zone or not, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about there, and that's not the point of this video. However, it is a really solid card. It's a solid card for like a random single prizer. It's not an amazing card. It did have there was a really good Zamazenta in the past, a Zamazenta V, not this one. This Zamazenta V is also good, but like it was good previously. There was the card Metal Saucer, which was nice. It helped the previous Zamazentas, but it's not in the format anymore. So I'll put it in B tier. I think B tier seems fine. It's not a bad Pokemon, but it's not the best by any means either. It's okay. I mean, I think there are certainly a lot of Pokemon who would be happy to have this level of success, but it's certainly not the best. Then we have Indeedee. As I said, there's like two Indeedee forms, but in the TCG, there's only one. And oh, there's two Indeedees. There's this one. It can search deck for a card put into your hand. It can attack turn when going first. And this one that evolves one of your bench Pokemon. They're not very good. I'd put this in F tier. I mean, there are worse cards, I guess, but it's pretty rough to be honest. These cards are just not really good at all. Like putting it in C. I mean, I've never seen anyone play either. I don't. Well, maybe I've seen people play these cards. Like they're, if you know theme deck format or theme format, they're like these kinds of cards would be like solid in that. But this isn't theme format; it's standard format. So, yeah, they're pretty bad. I don't think anyone, as I said, I don't think I've really seen people play these cards much, if at all. They're bad. There is worse. But that's pretty rough. Next we got Whimsicott. Whimsicott, one of the more forgettable Pokemon in my opinion in the TCG. Although it does. How do I spell this Pokemon? Oh, I missed the M. So it's not like the worst, I guess. It has four cards. What is this one? Whimsicott. I did not like know this card existed, but it's not good. But that's fine. So there's the V-Star, and then there's the Single Prizer. The Single Prizer heals your grass Pokemon in the competitive database, at least the international competitive database, which is not actually as big as the Japanese one. Or it's not fully international, which is kind of weird. But the TPCI database is what I should say from Limitless is doesn't have anyone playing it, and it does have people playing Whimsicott V-Star. However, this was in 2022. Yeah, so this card has not seen play like in a while. You could play with Arceus V-Star or by itself, and it's like an interesting counter. Oh, or with Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider like rotated though. So you could play Whimsicott, and it stops special energies and also tools. And the tool thing is not that useful. The special energy thing is also not that useful now because the best special energy deck, and really the only special energy deck is Lugia V-Star. However, that accelerates energy from the deck, not from hand. So this doesn't do too much to them. It does annoy them a little, but it's not that good, and it's pretty bad against everything else. So yeah, low HP for a V Star. It's not like I was gonna say it's not the worst. It's not the worst, but it's pretty much the worst. 240 is the lowest, and that's on like I think Shaman and along with Vulpix or something. 250 is pretty bad though. And then the single prize Whimsicott. And then the V is like not good. It's got a funny attack, but it's not good. What's it called? Fluff gets in the way. What is this? Okay. And then the single prize one, not the fairy, the psychic one is not good. And then the single prize grass one might be the best one now. I don't know. No, it's probably not. It's pretty bad. You can play it with like Torterra EX. If I look at the Japanese tournament database, oh, it doesn't have any place either. Okay. I have seen decks play this. I have seen decks play this certainly in the past. So it'll escape D tier. It'll make its way into C tier. It's not very good. These C tier Pokemon aren't good, but there are worse as well. So then you have Farigiraf. Okay, Farigiraf is a really interesting one. I misspelled that. Okay. So we got three for giraffes. This one's not good. I didn't. So I was like, as I said, I was looking into Pokemon before this video, and I did not know this card existed. I mean, I kind of did, but I definitely forgot. So yeah, that's not a good sign. But the other ones, the Wonderful Rumble, this card is like not good, but it's not that bad either. I think it gets a bit of a bad rap, but it's like it's not the worst. You could play it. You could play it in. There's a deck with Zoroark, a new Zoroark, not the old one. It would be good with the old Zoroark, but that rotated. Okay with the old Zoroark, but it's good with the new Zoroark, which isn't actually out yet, but it's coming out in it's actually out in Japan. So and then it does 40 future stage ones. It's an interesting card. And then Farigiraf EX, kind of interesting here. Recently did like decently at a tournament, which is probably what it's known for. It didn't even do that well, but it did like all right. And it says prevent damage. The ability to prevent damage done to this Pokemon by attacks or points of basic EX. This list that did play it, which was the highest placing control list. Pidgeot control list at the tournament. It does run the ability, or it does run enough energies to attack with it, but it's like not super common to do that. I don't think. I don't know, but it walls off. It walls off basic EXs, notably Raging Bolt EX, Ogerpon EX, and with that deck, and then also like Iron Hands EX, which is pretty good, and some of the other future EXs, and it walls off a few Pokemon Chien-Pao EX as well. So it is it's an interesting Pokemon, but I'll put it in B tier. Not that bad, to be honest. I mean, it's not great, but it's certainly better than the C tier and the D tier Pokemon. Then we come to Chi-Yu, which has three cards in standard, I think. Oh, okay. Well, that didn't work. So we got the Chi-Yus though. So we got the Fire Chi-Yu, the EX, and the two single prizers. This one's not very good. It's not like that bad, but it's certainly worse than this one, which does 140 if one of your Pokemon was knocked out last turn. This is certainly an interesting Pokemon. Actually won a tournament, but it's okay. I mean, you can for a fire like Pokemon, it's really solid, but fire is like a mediocre type to a bad type. I'd say it's like it has no standout great features, which means that it's behind a lot of the other types. But it's a solid fire Pokemon. And this Chi-Yu EX is played in control decks, notably Pidgeot control or Snorlax control, and it's pretty good. But it's not always played in those decks. Oh wait, did I say apparently Snorlax control finished higher than Pidgeot control? I forgot that happened. But anyways, Chi-Yu EX is all right. I guess it goes in B tier as well. I will be ordering these, so I will put it. No, I won't. I'm not really gonna order them, but it's above the other two. The rest aren't really ordered, but Chi-Yu is pretty solid, but not amazing. Chi-Yu EX is like kind of niche, and then the single price Chi-Yu is super niche. So but decent cards. Then next we have Ice Rider Calyrex. So we got Calyrex, my favorite Pokemon. Calyrex is all right, I guess. There's only one Calyrex. It's not Ice Rider. It's the not Rider, the no Rider Calyrex or whatever. So yeah, no cards. There were some cards, and then I'll just do the Urshifu and Shadow Rider. No cards. No Urshifus, no Calyrexes, other than this one, which is like not very good, but also it's not the right Pokemon. So yeah, yeah, that's a little rough for them. But then we got moved to Pelipper next. Pelipper, I think there's one. There's only one that I know of. Oh, it's one L. Okay, you get to witness me like not know how to spell the Pokemon either. Oh, there's two P's or three P's. There we go. We got there. This is one hearsay. It's funny. On play, you can recover a supporter from your discard, put it into your hand, or get a supporter from your deck. Pretty cool card, to be honest, but I think underrated as well, but that doesn't mean it's good. I think it will actually see play with the next main set with a Stellar Miracle, which we'll talk about later in the video. But Pelipper is, it's okay. It's not that good, let's be honest. It's the one in D tier. I hate to put it in D tier because I think this card's fun. I think it's. I was gonna say it was cool and expanded. I think I said that at one point with Scoop Up Net. Then Scoop Up Net got banned, so it's not as good anymore. But Pelipper is pretty cool with your save. It's not very good, to be honest. It's the same level in DD. There are worse Pokemon, I guess, but it is pretty not good. I'm sure most people would say it belongs in D, so I'll put it in D. Um, and then we got Terapagos. So Terapagos, well, it doesn't have any cards. I'm just gonna say that. I don't even know if I spelled it right, but it doesn't matter. Also, is it Terapagos or Terapagos? I've heard both, and I assumed it was Terapagos and Terapagos. They're so different sounding. But anyways, Terapagos doesn't have any cards. However, it's gonna have a card in the next set. So like NA is bad. Like these NA Pokemon are certainly worse than the D tier Pokemon because you can't play them at all, and it's not like there's really any hope for them because I don't know if they're getting cards anytime soon either. But Terapagos, we know there's a card for the Pokemon for this. Sorry, a card for this Pokemon. Yep, coming in the next set, and it's pretty good. So I'll put it in NA. No, I'll make a new tier, which is gonna be coming soon, and that'll be green. Sure, there we go. Um, yeah, there we go. So coming soon, Terapagos. There we go. It'll be all right, to be honest. And then we got Chien-Pao. Oh well, Trapos isn't like S tier either, I don't think, but it's okay. So Chien-Pao, there we go. I spelled it right. There's a single prizer, not that good, but we got Chien-Pao EX. This card's super solid. It's arguably a top 10 deck now, I guess. I mean, I don't think it is. I don't think too many people would say it is, but there might be a few people who would. It's like a top 20 deck. That's really where it is. But it's not like some terrible deck. It's just an underwhelming deck compared to some other decks. What Chien-Pao is going to end up in A. It's a really good Pokemon. There are better ones though, certainly. I'm actually going to move Iron Hands EX down to A. I think that's fine. I don't know. It could go in. Yeah, no, I think A is fine. I don't think we're going to have any S tiers, but that's fine because I don't think Iron Hands deserves a S tier. It's pretty close, but Chien-Pao, pretty solid Pokemon. Supported heavily by Excalibur, not really playable without it at all. I guess this person played it without it, but like it's not common. Most of the lists are on Excalibur, and then you could do it with Palkia, but not really. It's pretty rough with Palkia. So Chien-Pao EX, pretty powerful Pokemon. Not the best of the best, but still very solid. Then we got to come to Amongus. There is I think there's two Amonguses in standard. There we go. I spelled it right as well. There's this one. This one's not good. But I don't. It's just whatever. It's a filler card. This one, I actually am talking about it on the podcast, or talked about on the podcast on the releasing on the 24th of June. So you can check that out, or you talk about this card a little. But long story short, it's not good. It was in the podcast where we talked about fixing bad cards, so that's not good. So yeah, this Pokemon's pretty trash. No good cards. This one's definitely worse than these two, I'd say. But they're not that good either. We'll move Pelipper up here though, because I like it. The tiers aren't really ordered, so it doesn't mean anything, but still. Then we come to Fluttermane. Fluttermane has one card in standard. And that card is all right. It's not a great card, but it's not a terrible card. You can play it in some different decks, but mostly Gardevoir or Ancient Box, and it's really solid in those two. You can play it in Raging Ball as well. I've not done that. I don't know. That seems kind of not good to play it in Raging Ball. Or you could put it in, I think, Regidrago as well, but but it's mostly there for Gardevoir, which is a really good deck, arguably the best deck right now. And you can put, I mean, you can even put it in Lost Zone as well, which I think is actually all right. But I'm gonna put this Pokemon in B. I mean, it's definitely better than Zamazenta and Girafarig. It's like similar power level to Chi. It's a little better than Chi. I feel like it's not A tier though. A tier like Chien-Pao and Iron Hands are so much better than it, and even no, Fluttermane. I'll put Fluttermane in 8. I think Fluttermane's a decent card. Right now, it's the best card in the Lost Zone in my opinion. I guess Klefki's no. I think Fluttermane's better than Klefki to counter Lost Zone. So oh, another one Iron Bundle. Anyway, it's still really good, but then the next set is gonna be bad. But I guess the next set's not out yet, so that's fine. Fluttermane is squeaking his way into A tier. Then Tornadus or Tornadus. I don't know. I actually don't talk about this card. It's not good. Um, and it's not that bad though. I mean, it's for like a random Pokemon, it's not that bad. Sudden Cyclone on play, you send your opponent's active to the bench. Um, it's kind of like Iron Bundle, but it's worse. So there's actually two Iron Bundles. Like if you know the Iron Bundle, or you don't. It's the Iron Bundle that does this but better. So this card's gonna go in C, I guess. I mean, it's not very good. It's not like unplayably bad either. And it has a usable attack. It'll go in C tier. That's fine. These are like not competitive Pokemon at all. 20 is actually might be better than Clefairy or Whimsicott. Um, I'll reorder stuff. There we go. And then we got Raging Bolt EX. Raging Bolt is really solid. I know I've said Raging Bolt's not good, and I kind of think that is like just a deck. I don't think it. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not as good as it's not like a top 5 deck by any means, but it's still a really solid deck. It's overplayed, is what I'm saying, but it's still good. It's certainly making its way into A tier. It's not S tier either, certainly. I mean, it's been out for it's one of the newest Pokemon on this list. Um, it's been out for 2 expansions. When it first came out, it was terrible. I mean, not like the worst deck in the game, but it wasn't good. And so it was underwhelming. I say terrible, like these Pokemon down here are terrible. Raging Bolt was not that level, but it wasn't like good. And so Raging Bolt now is pretty good. So it'll go. I'll put it below Chien-Pao, above Fluttermane, I guess. I mean, right now, I guess it's better than Chien-Pao, so that's fine. And then we play it with the Grass Ogerpon as well. TMS Ogerpon EX, that's how you'd play it. And definitely like essentially the only way to play it. Certainly the best way to play it at the very least. And then we have Rillaboom. And there's only one Rillaboom. There is a Thwackey. Obviously there's a Thwackey that this evolves from. That's pretty good. But this Rillaboom is not. This card's pretty bad. I mean it has been played a tiny bit in Japan. But because there's the Thwackey. So this card's not good. It's going to end up in D tier. Is it the worst of these? I guess it's better than Amongus and um, I guess it's above Indeedee. I don't know. It's pretty bad. So yeah, and I did end up ordering the tier list anyways. And then Incineroar has 2 cards. This is the Pokemon that you've all been waiting for because Incineroar um, is the best Pokemon in the video game apparently. So Incineroar EX, and I knew that Incineroar was like super broken in the video game. Before like looking into this, that's essentially the only thing I knew. Like I had no idea about any of these other Pokemon except for maybe Urshifu and Rillaboom a little. But Incineroar EX is interesting. It's like okay. Oh, apparently someone played it in a tournament. But it's not that good. And same thing with the single prize Incineroar. They're like the same Pokemon, which is kind of they're not the same, but they functionally are pretty similar, especially for playing, yeah, with Relicanth. They're functionally very similar. It's okay. I mean, there's not too much. This is like such a bland Pokemon to end on. But it's like C. It's certainly like it's like low C as well. It's not that. It's above Clefairy, I guess, but yeah, that's fine. So yeah, I mean, it's a mediocre Pokemon. It's kind of the definition of a mediocre Pokemon. No S tier Pokemon, as you can see. The S tier Pokemon in the TCG right now, I'd say are I'd say Comfy's better. I'd say Charizard's better. Charizard has a lot of bad cards. Charizard has just obviously it has a lot of cards. There's a lot of them are pretty trash. But actually no, in standard most of the cards are pretty solid. Even like the worst ones are solid. And then what other Pokemon? Gardevoir is Gardevoir S tier. I don't know if Gardevoir is S tier because it doesn't have the single prize Gardevoir anymore. Pidgeot would be S tier, I think. And Snorlax might be S tier because it's got multiple really solid cards, but I guess it just has mostly one good card. And oh, the Snorlax doll. This card, spoilers, it was also in Uncommon Fossil and I's podcast episode of bad cards. Um, let's see. I do think Cramorant is really good and Sableye is really good, but I don't think they're S tier. And maybe Arceus, but probably not. Oh, Giratina, probably. Maybe Arceus. Yeah, Arceus is probably actually better than Giratina. Oh, I guess Miraidon would be an S tier because it does have two great Pokemon, and one solid one as well. There are two solid ones. There's three EXs. There's Lightning EX, the good one. There's a single prize one, and then there's the two other EXs. The other Lightning EX and the Dragon EX. The Dragon EX is pretty solid, and the Lightning EX super underrated in my opinion, but not bad. Maybe Raging or no, what is this? Roaring Moon is pretty good, and yeah. They're probably not. Those wouldn't all be an S tier, but some of those were, and they're all better than these ones. So, yeah. So the best Pokemon. Oh, I'm gonna order this last tier. So Rapid Strike's certainly the best, and then Single Strike's the worst. You could put Ice Rider and Shadow Rider in either order. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you. They're not in standard though, right? So you can't really rate them. But yeah, there you go. This is the tier list of the best Pokemon in the video game, how good they are in the TCG. So I figured this was an interesting experiment. Tell me if there are Pokemon I missed as well, because I just asked a few people, but I don't even know if this is what they were intending. But anyway, that's all for today's video. Consider subscribing, liking, all that good stuff. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.